Off screen, I've been grinding a few levels to try and hit level 37, because it is finally time for us to enter the Bonezone! We are fusing Daisojo, and I'm giving him Warcry, Rakunda, and Sakakaja. He's going to be our ultimate nerf and buffing machine. As I have mentioned many times before, this dude is an absolute beast to have. Daisojo is arguably one of the best demons in the game to have. You have to use a Death Stone to defuse him, but do it. Do it. Right. Do it. Daisojo is a game carrier. He will stay in your party for the entirety of the rest of the game if you so choose to let him, and will do so comfortably. So I bench Uzume and put in Daisojo. Daisojo is not in his prime yet. He's got one of his two-piece insanity, but not both. He starts with meditation. Meditation is for 10 MP, drain around between 80 to 120 health or magic, and well, health and magic, sorry, from the opponent. The amount it drains is dependent on how much the enemy's defense has been lowered. So it is just an absolute unit in terms of being an absolute self-sufficient product for Daisojo. He can keep himself going regardless of your influence or lack thereof. But there's only one piece of the puzzle. He later learns Prayer. Prayer is a group-wide full heal and heals off all status conditions. So you've got self-sustaining and you've got group healing. Daisojo will carry you because he will keep you alive. But on that note, welcome to part 14 of Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, where today, following that tip-off we got at the basement of Mantra HQ, we're going to attempt to save the leader of the mannequins by going to an area also owned, well, no longer really owned by anyone, but was also once owned by the Mantra HQ. By leaving from the east gate and following the highway to the end, you eventually reach this area where the ground is all blooded in sections. That reddish area is harmful to the touch. But if you have a float ball, it will not hurt you, because it's on the floor, not on you. So I have a plentiful amount, because I'm getting prepared for a dungeon later on, so I can traverse it. And any ball or bell will last until a new moon. So the reason why you want to use it is because not only the fact that there's a part of it that you need to traverse to get this item, it's just convenient. But going over here, there is an item, nab it, you get a Soma droplet, which is around half HP and MP restoration. You can go all the way around this, so you don't actually have to touch any of the red. But it's just when you got the float ball, you can just cut the corners, so you might as well. As it's about to run out anyway. Time moves, well, to say that the moon cycle moves a heck of a lot quicker when you're on the overworld compared to in arena. So if you're trying to activate certain things that are dependent on moon, if you can get to the open world relatively quickly, do so. There's a side quest later on where to get a Magatama, you need to sacrifice a demon by giving him to someone else to help, like, I think it's to help, like, break into a tunnel, to, like, mine out a tunnel. But it has to take so many moon cycles for it to do it. Just return to the overworld and do circles until you do, like, four full cycles and then go in and you get it. That's not until much later on, but still. You can get some archangels out in the field now as well, so I show this off so you can see that, yeah, there are archangels around now, so just be a little wary. These guys aren't too bad. If you've got any dark-based instant kills, they'll all be weak to it. Anything angelic will be heavily weak. You are quite fetching. I cannot help but be somewhat tempted by you. So much for an angel. Tempted by the first girl that approaches you. Jesus. Ugh. But be wary, as you can see here, the dungeon we need to actually get into is actually surrounded in that red. There isn't any in the dungeon, it's just you'll probably take a spike going into the Kabukisho prison. And when you first enter it, the Kabukisho prison, you'd be forgiven for thinking it's not going to be that bad to go through. Because it looks kind of simple, it's just a tower, it's just a rundown building. So you got it all wrong, pal, clearly this is a prison. Even though the mantra fell, there's still loads of mannequins being held here. But you won't be able to find any, but you will find a portal and a save room right there, so you might as well, nab it since you're here. It's a main terminal too, so, why not? The way this dungeon works, and it's the first one where if you're brand new to this game, you'd be forgiven if you end up just giving in and getting up a guide, because this place can be quite complicated. It's not too bad, it's especially not as bad as it gets later on, but it's the first dungeon that's like a proper traditional Shin Megami Tensei dungeon where they expect you to just kind of spend a while working shit out. And it's because of these portals. Hehehe, Kusuteno is gone. This prison now belongs to Mizushi. I feel like torturing those mannequins in the Mirage. I think I'll go do that right now. The reason why all the mannequins are imprisoned here, but no one's been able to free them, is because of these Mirage portals. Well, right now we can't go into it, but when you do, it alters the landscape differently, so you have to alternate between the normal and the Mirage version of this area. When you interact with the portal and see that scene with the Naga trying to go through, if you come back through properly, you will hear a sound that will require you to go back to where we were. There's an instance of me using meditation. 75 health and around 80 something, I didn't see what it said, 80 something MP. If you're wondering where all this marker came from that I suddenly got, that was where I was doing my 3 to 4 level grind. All I was doing is I went to the second Kalpa of the Labyrinth of Amala, and on B1, where you have none of the instant kill enemies, you just have the slimes and the mist enemies. You just go there, and I'm constantly going back and forth in a corridor until I hit the level I wanted. But when you go back, it says you can hear a voice coming from somewhere. Oh, what's the matter? Does it hurt? If you can't even tolerate this, you'll be dead in no time. You want me to stop? You really want me to stop? Well, too bad. Yeah. Phew, I think I'll let you off with that for today. Since I've got this little doohickey, I can come and go into the Mirage as I please, meaning I'll be back. Gee, I'm glad he said it out loud in this Mirage so it's somewhere we can hear in the real world. When you come back, well, here's that guard. Who the hell are you? Wait, you couldn't be. You know who I am. I don't care. This is a paradise for us, ex-Mantra. Whatever you did during that attack on Nihilo doesn't even mean shit here. Well, you're going to regret that, aren't you? This mini-boss is just a normal encounter with a little bit more health. Don't stress about it. Just don't use electric on him. Or her. Just don't use electric. If you have any Zan skills, use that. But if you get a freeze, I mean, that's a... Yeah, there we go, it's dead. That's what I mean, that is not a threat. But it drops its quote-unquote doohickey. You obtain the Umugu stone. Or Umugi stone. And you can now interact with the wall and use the Umugi stone. And enter the Mirage. The way the Mirage works, the building is shrouded in the Mirage. When I said altered, I meant upside down. The Mirage version of this tower completely inverts it and changes all the standard rooms to what they actually are in the Mirage, prisons. So now if you turn around, everything is upside down. When you first entered, you might have noticed there was a door to your side that you couldn't access because there was rubble on the ground. Well, that rubble will now be on the ceiling. So you can go under it to access the ladder to go down the floor. You'll go down, but you'll go down the floor too. Because you're upside down. And you can see that all of these mannequins are being hung by their feet. Because gravity still affects them properly. It's just because we're part of the Mirage, we're here like this. This is Kabu. I love this. The ex-demons have now turned this... Strange. I thought someone was talking to me. Wait, you see, all the debris here is no longer there, so you're free to go about as you please. This is also a good instance. When I was in the assembly in Nihio, I said that I made notes when I was going through to make sure I knew where I was going. I did the same here. But this one, if I'm not sure where I'm going, I straight up stop and check and bring up the map and check my notes there. So there's going to be a couple points through this where I'm just going to straight up stop moving for a second as I work out where I am. Because I did this dungeon twice, so I can make sure I show you precisely where to go and not just, like, meander. Because there's not too much of note here. There's a lot of shortcuts you can get. Like, once you've opened it up, you can get access back to previous areas easily, so it's not too bad. You expect me to join you? Give me 790 marker. Still not enough. 350. Sure. So I need more. 420. Okay. Is that your final answer? I have no faith in you. Give me a lifestone. Sure. I must ask your opinion. Do you use your life for someone? Is there something more important than your own life? Yes. So that is how you live. You cease to talk bores me. Negotiations failed. That's what I mean. You know, in like the first couple videos where I said negotiations, going for the negative option tends to work out more often than not. He wasn't happy that I said I had a reason to live. And I don't think I recruit one later. I think I completely missed recruiting a single one of these throughout this dungeon. Keyword is I think, because I honestly can't remember of it being a little while. Leave me alone. Alright, you sure, dude. Free us, I don't want to die of Makasuhi. Or sucked dry. And you'll see, when you come over here, there's another mirage and a ladder. There's also a hole in the ceiling. You can drop through those holes in certain parts to take you to other places. So there's even more to consider. It's not just ladders. You've got to consider a lot when going through here. I just headquarters deserted, so I came poking over here. But talking about scary, hee-ho, this place is the pits. To advance, there's a specific NPC, or a specific mannequin that's imprisoned that you need to talk to. And when you talk to, it will initiate a kind of quest that you'll be solving to find your way through here. Yeah. This is another instance where if I had Mazan, or Mazan-Ma would be nice. Because you can start getting tier 2 skills around now. I don't too much. Like, you can see I've got a couple, but I haven't got too much right now. But I start getting more and more later. Like, there's one thing that some of the guides will say that I really cannot recommend enough, don't pay too much mind to, is that there's a lot of moments where the guide will say, oh, you should have X skill by now, and they won't tell you what demons you should have to make it or fuse that. They'll just say you should have this skill by now. Don't stress about it if you follow a guide for this game. And the reason why I'm making a point of mentioning the guides, because I know this is a game you're gonna bring it up at least once, especially if you're going for 100%. This is the mannequin. He's being secretive. Go talk to him. Shit, a mantra demon? No! My spoon broke! Look what you did. I was almost done digging too. It's your fault. I needed that spoon. I demand you take responsibility. I know. How about you get me another one? The collector mannequin should be around here somewhere. He has just about anything. Find him and grab a spoon. You got that? Remember, you did this. Alright, dickhead. I don't have to help you. You're the one in the prison cell. I could just leave you here. But yes, our objective is the collector mantra is talking to. Do you remember in the underpass of Ginza, where to get out so we could actually go fight Matador and do the rest of the underpass, we had to go get a 1,000 yen bill and like steal it from the bar to give to a mannequin, and he let us through? That's the mannequin. That's the collector mannequin. That's who it's talking about. We're gonna go find him. He's back. But over here is your first hole you want to jump in. And right in front of you is a ladder, but to your side and behind you are these switches. These are the shortcut switches. Flicking them will open these gates so you can access them in the Mirage. Because you can't access them in the real world because they're grounded. So they'll be on the ceiling. They'll be out of reach. Like I said, this place really isn't that bad. It's just on your first run, you're absolutely going to go the wrong way and spend a lot of time here. But we're at the point now in the game where, regardless of what's going on and what's happening, in terms of gameplay, you should be well and truly in your comfort zone by now. You should have the sort of demons you want to go for. Yeah, you're not going to keep them forever. Well, the Sojo you might, but the rest you're probably not going to keep forever. But you know what sort of demons you're looking for. And a lot of the demons you make now, you'll find the skills you inherit from them, you're still inheriting into demons at endgame. Like, the sort of situation you're getting yourself into now is something that's going to carry for the long run. You see, that pause there was me checking my notes. So I was like, is it that portal or is it to do something else first? No, you need to come over here, the long way round. And then this door will allow you to the staircase to go up. Your ultimate objective is to get to the top floor in the... I can't remember if it's in the Mirage or in the real world. You can get to it with both easily. Right, but once you get there. Like, once you've got there with one, you literally just go down the ladder, take a corner, and there's a way to flip it. And then you can just go back around that corner and back up. So, like, once you actually work your way to the top floor, you're done, essentially. This enemy has Dragon Eye. Crazy as. Dragon Eye is the better version of Beast Eye. It replaces their turn with 4 bloody more. So this enemy is a threat if it gets a turn, because it can just give itself 4 turns. I was like, there's a visual glitch, and it existed in the original, and I'm glad, well, unsure why they never fixed it. There's a couple enemies where properties of that enemy or effects surrounding the enemy will spawn in before they do. These are little electro guys. They're a good example of what I mean. Where you can see like the shadow effect silhouette of them. That's like an effect on them. It's not a part of their model. Just be there and then they spawn on top of it. Anytime you pass the news, which are like those giant chubby yellow and black things with like the lion beards, their nose pieces spawn in before they do, because they have like a special animation effect on them. But now we can open this door and be on the other side, and there's the Jack Frost that we talked to that was on the ceiling. And whilst we're here, because we're grounded, we can use this door that is a small terminal. So you're here, take your save, and that is that's part A done. Leaving, we're going the long way, all the way to the ladder. Ignore the hole. Don't take the hole, take the ladder. And then take this back to the Mirage. But whilst we're working our way through here, this will upload on the Monday, but I recorded this on the Friday, so I still have my weekend. Summer Games Fest was last night. And E3 is in a couple days. Well, I think it starts technically tomorrow, as of recording this. And so I've got impressions. I'll talk about the stuff that people aren't talking about first. If you recall, one of the last things I did on my PS4 was do a live stream series of Salt and Sanctuary. And it was a very quirky little game that I assumed would never get a sequel, but I very much enjoyed it for what it was. It's getting a sequel called Salt and Sacrifice, and it looks really good. It looks like they're taking a different approach with it. They're embracing more traditional stat gain. Instead of it being the spider web skills, they're making it more traditional. You just bump up your individual stats like a Souls-like. So I'm okay with that. Here's the collector mannequin, by the way.
I know you! You're the demon I met in the Great Underpass! Huh? A spoon? I see. Okay then. You did help me with the bill and all. Yeah, I could give you my spoon. While you're at it, would you maybe mind rescuing me?
Yeah, one at a time, dude. But yeah, Salt and Sacrifice looks really good, and I'm curious to see what unique direction they go with it, with the whole hunting down mages. Like, it feels like Salt and Sanctuary was more of a nod to Dark Souls, whilst this is taking more nods to Bloodborne, with it being hunt things down sort of thing, which I'm all for. I'm okay with that. Tales of Arise continues to look really good. I'm very much excited to that. I just hope Bandai stop doing the fucking recording block so I can record it, if I end up really enjoying it. Because Bandai is one of the worst offenders for recording blocks on PS4 and PS5. Genuinely, like, the fact that Tales of Berseria, the entire goddamn game outside of the self-contained battle arenas is a blocked scene, is ridiculous. And the fact that they never got rid of it post-launch is just infuriating, because I love that game. It's one of my all-time favourites, and I wish I could record it for you guys, but I just can't. But anyway, bringing that spoon back to that mannequin that broke the old one, he would dig out a hole. Well, now, if you go back to reality, there's a hole there for you to jump through. But yes, just like many of you, I am very much looking forward to Elden Ring next January. It's not this year, it's just barely next year. But that's A-okay. It means it's not in the middle of like a million other releases, like June. This June has been. Because genuinely, like, stepping back to do this recording, and not playing Guilty Gear or Final Fantasy VII has been something. Damn it! I was able to escape from my cell, but I need to defeat Mizushi to escape from the Mirage. Well, there you go. None of the mannequins can truly escape until you kill the boss of this place. Oh, god damn it. One of these days I'll get a group like this. Let's try Mahameon. Let's try Stronger. Damn it. Look at how poor my luck is a lot of the time with any instant kill attempts. Keep that in mind for when enemies use it on me and how lucky they fucking get sometimes. When they will hit like party wides. Well, not entire parties. I've yet to have it hit every member of a party. More so because it can't, because Daisojo is immune to it. Daisojo says, fuck that shit. Daisojo's resistance and immunities are a godsend. Genuinely, drains anything mind-based, can't be touched by instant kills. It's ridiculous. Like, he's such a strong demon to have at this point of the game with his resistances and immunities. And the fact that, you know, like, Drain, if anything tries to use a nerve skill on you, they just lose their entire turn because Drain makes them so they lose all their presses. For some reason, those guys are down here, you know, those tutorial enemies. It's weird sometimes. So yeah, it's everybody strong enemies. Oh, let's just throw in, like, the bare basic as well. No. Oh, let's open this while we're here. So we have our shortcut round. So I believe that's how we get to the end. Well, ultimately we'll get into the end. So you hop up this ladder. I think this is the end of the dungeon. Yes, because that's the save point. Ah, stop it! Ah! Because that door at the end there is what you need to enter, but you can't enter it from here. You need to enter it in the Mirage. And a slight boost of our magic, just so then, you know, Tornado is a little bit more helpful still. There's Fog Breath, by the way. I finally went back to that Magatama, sorry. I finally went back to that Magatama, the one we got from Fornius, to try and get Fog Breath. Because it's way too good of a skill, and I just completely forgot. And so eventually I was like, well, hang on a minute, there's a skill here. There's Fog Breath, you can have that by now. So I put that on the forefront, which is why I'm grinding out that Magatama specifically. But when you're ready, back up over here. Checking my notes again. No, don't jump down that hole. Keep on going, right to the very end, there is a Mirage Mirror, and then you just go the way you came. Back up that ladder. Well, down it now, because it'll be upside down, but you know what I mean. So this place really isn't that bad, we're already done. It's really not that bad if you know exactly where you're going. It's just if you get confused or muddled along the way, you could be here for hours. You hear any loud vehicles outside? It is summer, I've got my window open. And what doesn't help is that it's summer heat, and then it's like rained a little bit, so everything's got the loud splashing sound as well if it's going across the road. But as you proceed onwards, you'll be warned. You there, I beg you to listen. You see those doors over there? Mizushi, the boss of the prison, is in there. Defeat him and save Futomimi, please. Futomimi being the leader of the manikins. If we can save him, we'll be really on the good side of them. They might help us out more. So I top myself up because I said this boss. The way this boss works, that it gets easier the further it goes along. It starts off kind of difficult because the boss can hit kind of hard. This is it. Might notice it's just a normal enemy but super big. Damn you pests. You think you could beat me? Not a chance. I'll tear you apart. But as you hurt it, the boss will get smaller and smaller. As it loses more health, it will become more damaged, and it will just lose its size and shape more and more until eventually it's much smaller than you. The smaller it gets, the less hard it hits, and the more it gets hit. Well, the harder it will be hit. But because Daisojo has Warcry, well, I got Daisojo Warcry, I kind of got the freedom to just use it as I see fit. While I'm at it, I boost my hit and evasion, so I don't have Fog Breath yet. And just pray that Demi-Fiend does okay despite his situation. Because I don't have Prayer on Daisojo yet. And I don't have an item to cure it. So I'm just hoping. It's like, nope, he's confused. And he threw away 500 marker. God damn it. Or at least he recovered after one. And because we've boosted our hit and evasion, the boss is going to miss more often. Because he's not that great at stopping you. Get your meditation out. Get some of that MP back so we can just use stuff like that again more and more. It's weak to Argy in particular. But we don't really have any real Argy members. So we're kind of at a disadvantage in that sense, where we don't have much of a push we can make on the boss. But do not stress on this boss. Like I said, if you can get through the initial bit of just nerf it with like Warcry and such, the rest will fall apart. Because you'll just, by the time it gets in a situation where it can try and deal with the problems you've put on it, you've hurt it so much that it's lost so much of its size that it'll be doing so little damage to you, you can just clean it up anyway. But it's kind of in stages. Like, it's like you've got a big stage, a middle-sized stage, and a small-sized stage. And you'll know when you hit one because it triggers a cutscene. Because I get a free crit there with Might. So there's not that much to talk about. This boss isn't that difficult. You just kind of work your way through it. Compared to some of the stuff we've done in the past few videos, this is kind of like a very non-event boss. But it is the next thing we need to do. It does have the Kunda though, which will get rid of its nerf. You'll get rid of that war cry, which is what I meant earlier by by the time it gets a chance to actually do away with its problems, you're too on top of it that you're going to start ripping it apart. Because you see, we're just beating the shit out of this thing. And what does happen is that Demi-Fiend's physical strength now is slowly but surely going further and further through that roof. Huh? Are you getting bigger? Nah, it must be my imagination. Nah, you're getting smaller, mate. Mirage is the only skill if you don't have Daisojo or a demon that can block or resist nerve skills. That can be a threat. But like I said, you can at this point, even if you're not prepared to do the grind, you can absolutely have a demon that can do it because you have Sarvasti. Or Sarasvati. Sarasvati? Who knows? It's like there's an S and a V like right in the middle of the word that doesn't help. It also has Mabufala, which is like a more universal, he will hit everyone eyes, and not Glacial Blast, which is just random hitting. You know, gives it a bit more of a chance to connect. But as a whole, I can't stress enough, this fight is not a challenge. We're in a position right now where we are comfortable. We won't be for too much longer. There's an area later on that's really goddamn annoying that we'll be getting to, I think, in a couple videos now. But as a whole, now you should do just fine on this fight. And the reward for doing so is worth it because you allow, you know, progression of the plot in more than one way. This guy's getting real small now. He's like nearly smaller than us. I swear you're getting bigger. Huh? You mean I'm shrinking? Yeah, try that Mirage one more time. Ah, didn't really work out there. Well, I'm confused again, but other than that... Look at this thing, it's tiny now. Bonk. To be fair, if I had Daisojo leveled up to have Prayer, this fight would even be more of a joke, because Prayer would get rid of the confusion. No, see, now it's only using Mabufu, it's not using Mabufala. It doesn't have access to it anymore, it's too weak. And there you go, it's dead. Still a long way off that next level, though. You obtain the Magatama Miasma, and the Mirage is disappearing. Now you've dealt with the thing maintaining the Mirage, there isn't one anymore, and you can't go back into it. Miasma is a pretty good one as a whole, but I'm going to stick with what I've got for now, just because of Fog Breath. Make sure to open the mystical chest while you're here. It's a mystic chest, it's random. And a jade as well. I'd say they're random. These are some of the ones where I kind of raise an eyebrow to it, because I get nothing but gems. Oh, and a vitality incense. That one can be random, but that one didn't feel it. It's like, okay, 3 gems and a vitality increase? Okay. The vitality increase, literally what it says on the tin, a free level up on vitality. So, result. 16 vitality. Well, that's including the Magatama we've got on.
Are you a human? No. A demon, I see. You are the demi-fiend I prophesied about. Thank you for defeating Mizuchi. Now we can finally escape from this prison. My name is Futomimi. You may know it already, but I can see into the near future. I've been waiting for you to come and save us. You, who are both human and demon. You may be interested to know that there is a young man trapped in the other room. It seems he came to see me, but he was also caught. Ah, so he's your friend. You should see him then. I sense a strange energy in him. I am concerned about the other mannequins, so I must be going. Thank you again for saving us. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Well, look who finally decided to show up. Don't tell me you came to save me. too little too late, don't you think?
Izumo's developing his personal reason, and it happens to be a very isolationist one, which is why he's such an arse. I like that there's an option to just leave when he starts being a dick, though.
It's not like you went out of your way to help me. It's obvious I can't count on you or our teacher anymore. No one's gonna help me in this world. I'll have to survive on my own. When this world was created, I heard a voice that told me to search for the truth. At the time, I had no idea what that meant. While I was locked up in this room, it came to me. Truth isn't something other people can give. You have to find it within yourself. And I opened the way without relying on anyone. The Amalin Network. What I'm looking for is in there. An awesome power that'll lead me to the truth. I hear it. It's calling to me.
And Izumo has decided all by himself he is going to go to the Amalin Network. He's not trying to go to any destination, he's specifically going into the Amalin Network to stay there. To develop his reason, which he will as time goes on. When you're ready, go back through these doors and then back through these, and you can talk to the manikins properly.
I have come again to thank you once more. We manikins plan to leave the area. Together we will find a way to live without suffering. Let me prophesy your future as a token of my gratitude. A man. At Ginza. It seems that there is a man waiting for you at Ginza. Go and see him. We must get going now. Again, thank you so much, if you'll excuse us.
Well, it's a rather blunt way of saying go to Ginza, but yeah, our next destination is Ginza. So now it's just a matter of finding our way out, which is pretty easy. The terminal door's still in this corner over here, so hop in there. Revert to original terminal, and then from there warp to either Ikebukuro to heal up or Ginza to go to the next scene. I don't think I go to Ikebukuro straight away because I know I don't really need to. Because I decided so I can just heal later, because I know this is going to be the last thing I was going to do for this video. Just wrap it up here. But when you go to Ginza, look who's here.
Oh man, it's you! So you made it out alright. How'd you know I was here? I heard what Hikawa pulled off. Didn't think he'd wipe out the mantra completely. That nightmare system. It's deadlier than I could have imagined. But I'm not giving up yet. If Hikawa makes a move, we may just find us some clues. Maybe we can figure out where the nightmare system is. Or at least find the maiden who's running it. Unfortunately, this terminal's under Nihilo control, meaning I can't do much digging without raising a red flag. We need to find a terminal the Nihilo doesn't know about. Oh, remember those mannequins that were enslaved by the mantra? I heard they're rebuilding the town of Asakusa. There could be a Nihilo-free terminal over there. With the mantra out of the way, the road to Asakusa might have cleared up, but not enough for me to make it safely. Maybe I can get there with this terminal. Shoot, I should just ask the guy right in front of me. You, feel like going to Asakusa? If you could get there first and contact me through the Amala network, my job will be much easier. Besides, you're plenty strong. I'm sure you'll make it in one piece. Will you do it for me? Thanks. Can't tell you how much I appreciate this. I'll tell you everything I find out there, so let's stay in touch, alright? I'll be waiting then. You should check out the tunnel in East Ikebukuro. If the rumor's true, it'll take you to Asakusa. I'll keep working on this terminal, but you'll probably have better luck than me.
And there's our next objective. Once again, dealing with Hikawa being Hikawa, we need to shut down that nightmare system. But the only way we're going to find out any information on it is to find a terminal that's not linked with Nihilo. The only one that wouldn't be would be a newly established one in Asakusa, the village of the mannequins. Now we've just freed them, we can go visit them, but we need to go through the tunnel of East Ikebukuro first. The Tunnel of East Ikebukuro is another dungeon that really, really like starts to get on your wick if you're not used to it. Once you know what to expect, it's really not that bad. It's just it can be frustrating because it's teleporting mazes. And teleporting mazes in any game is frustrating when you don't know what you're doing. But we'll worry about that next time. So until then, you guys take care now. I'm going to go play more Guilty Gear.